Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.
Episode 9: 5 simple steps to achieve your goals as an indie artist in 2018. Satisfaction guaranteed! Let me guess, you ate the last leftovers? The hangover is finally, literally over? And you start thinking that resolutions you've made last week were a little bit, let's say, unrealistic, because the only real change you can realize so far is the weight you've put on during the holidays. But don't you despair, or no, for I'm here, your friend, and I'm gonna save your year, or at least entertain you for a few moments. The thing is, I'm gonna help you stick to that big noble goals you had last week, and yet leaving plenty of room for the fresh air that came with the new year. Don't really think it's possible, right? Well, but it is. Trust me. Follow me in these 5 easy steps. Step number 1. Write it down, baby. Write it down. No matter if you're using a laptop, computer, iPhone, paper and pencil, taking notes is a must-have habit for any indie artist. A little block and a pen do the trick for me. You might be the voice recorder kind of person, or it doesn't matter. Just make sure that great idea you had during the day won't just skip out of your mind during your beauty sleep. I'm talking about taking notes on everything. Ideas for new songs, or maybe just a title, or a complete verse, or parts of the melody. I really mean any new ideas that pop up into your mind concerning new partnerships, new projects, new merch, or advertising ideas. You gotta write them down. Write them down. Write it down. Write it down, baby. Which leads us to step 2. Are you your own producer? So be the best producer ever. Let's say you're up to make a house concert, or you're up to invite musicians to play with you in a special gig. This goes for any kind of gig. Just write down what you expect each and every person to do. It doesn't matter if we are talking about guest musicians or the guy you hired for filming the gig. Just make sure you have a kind of contract. Anything that's written with a certain of legal value. It can be an email with detailed information of what each part is expected to do, including the payment, expected working hours. Do not forget to count the rehearsals. What to do if the gigs get cancelled. This kind of maybe not such amusing talk. Certainly things that an independent musician must deal with. C'est la vie. Step 3. Organize yourself. It doesn't really help having everything written down if you're still sending the emails in the last moment, especially if you like, as I do, to work in public places. These are the gigs that are maybe not the hardest one to get, but they are certainly the ones that demand you the highest amount of organization. Getting a gig in public places, I'm talking about libraries or maybe street festivals, they demand a lot of preparation time. Yes, they will ask you 1,000 questions in 1,000 forms that you will have to fill. And PS, double check. So any great idea you might have written down following my reasonable advice from step 2 will now simply be lost because, well, guess what? You forgot to send the files on time. But the deadline, you say, well, did you count the difference in time concerning the time zone you're in? Maybe the deadline said up to 11:59 p.m. blah 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 of the following date, and you forgot that you were ahead in your time zone. Bad luck? No, lack of organization.
Step 4.
Think big, plan small, revise constantly. Let's face it, even if we all know that we have to learn to plan things for low budgets as indie artists, we like to think big. What about having that beautiful flute in track number 4? Well, maybe just 100 copies on vinyl, for collectors. I will probably be able to sell them during the shows. This kind of silly thought we all like to have for all our projects. Well, I also like to think big, but let's say that in April you get the reply of that funding agents you applied last year in November, and the answer was no. Well, time to replan, rethink, reschedule, resize. If you not only think big, but also plan big, maybe your yearly plan will make it difficult to you to deal with a lower budget. It happened to me last year, and it led me to a very unsatisfied financial situation by the end of the gig. So now I learned my lesson. Having a smaller plan, maybe a weekly plan or a monthly plan with a sub-weekly plan within, allows more room for such unwanted, unpleasant changes that unfortunately come with the territory. And last but not least, step 5. You gotta lose a little, you gotta win a little. Yeah, that's part of the game. Sometimes we're just gonna have to face the fact that we won't be able to fulfill all the tiny boxes of resolutions we had in our mind. Even if 2018 turns out to be the best year of your life so far, there will be ups and downs, that's for sure. Again, c'est la vie. But since we know it in advance, let's take it gracefully. Let's make of any delay, misunderstanding, or mistake a new item in our experience suitcase. And most important, let's have fun along the way, because life is too short. Let's make from this brand new year a wonderful one we are proud to remember. Thank you very much for staying with me, and let's get this year started. Well, with a final treat, sympathique, je ne veux pas travailler. My cover from the tune recorded by the group Pink Martini. I'm a great fan of them. Till next week, and for now, un beijo.
Ma chambre a la forme d'une cage. Le soleil passe son bras par la fenêtre. Le chasseur à ma porte comme de petites soldats qui veulent me prendre. Je ne veux pas travailler, je ne veux pas déjeuner, je veux seulement oublier et puis je fume. Déjà je connus le parfum de l'amour, 1 million de roses ne baumerait pas autant. Maintenant une seule fleur dans mes entourages me rend malade. Je ne veux pas travailler, non, je ne veux pas déjeuner. Je veux seulement oublier et puis je suis pas fière de sa vie qui veut me tuer. C'est magnifique être sympathique, mais je ne le connais jamais. Je ne veux pas travailler, non, je ne veux pas déjeuner. Je veux seulement d'oublier, et puis je fume. Je ne suis pas fière de sa vie qui veut me tuer. C'est magnifique être sympathique, mais je ne le connais jamais. Je ne veux pas travailler, je ne veux pas déjeuner. Je veux seulement oublier. Et puis je fume.
How to be indie in Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.